Hey Playmates, join me in this episode with Roxanne Swainhart and the Ascension Kickoff. Hi everybody, this is Dee Black, and in this place we talk about reality, consciousness, existence, who are we, what is this weird, wonderful, wacky world we find ourselves in, and what is it to be human on earth, that kind of stuff. And we have back with us Roxanne Swainhart. Thank you, Roxy, for coming back. I love
You're
you so
welcome.
much.
Thanks for the invite. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. How you doing?
Fantastic. I got a new office chair. Mine was
Nice.
4 years old. So I'm
Oh,
kind of like
really?
working with it. So, it's like in a new engagement. It's like a new toy. It's
Yeah.
like how high, but it feels good. It's got good lumbar support. It's always important, especially, I sit in the chair. I have clients. We're in sometimes for an hour and a half, Gotta
Yeah.
have a good chair. You
Yeah.
invest in your own body, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, things are fantastic. San
That's good.
Antonio, that's where I'm at, and yeah, we're doing it. I got my
All right.
groceries yesterday, so that was awesome. After 12 days of waiting for this set of groceries, they came in, and I made a nice beef stew this morning. It's cooking right now on a slow cooker, 7 hour. So that's cooking right
Mm.
now, and it's like, oh
Mm.
yeah. And I got eggs. Yeah. Yeah, I got eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a great day. It was a great day yesterday, and everything is good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like where you are, but like I felt like I was in a video game because like when I went to the grocery store, like we had to like stand like in a lineup to get in because they only let a certain number of people in. And then you had to follow the arrows along the
Mm,
aisles, right? And then
yeah.
and then you had to stand on these spots. And I don't know why I just felt like it was like a video game, okay, we'll just go along with this.
Yeah.
We're all immune, we're all infinite souls, but let's play along.
Yeah. Yeah. My groceries were delivered. I don't
Oh,
have a car,
nice.
so they
Yeah.
get delivered, and they leave them at the door. They text you, "We're dropping off your groceries. Pretty much don't open your door until we leave," and then they let us know when they're done. You go out there, there's all these. So I had to pull everything inside. But yeah, so
Yeah.
so
Well,
glad
that's
they
really
delivered
good.
it.
And,
Yeah.
and it's really good that, we still have things delivered and things are still happening. Like
Yeah.
we'll have
Yeah.
our needs are met, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
I
that's
think our little created reality will give us that what we need. Sure. You know,
yeah.
just
Yeah.
got to trust that. Got to trust
Yeah.
that internal.
Yeah. What do you think all this is actually? Is it's a game that we're playing as humans to experience this kind
Mm.
of thing? It's like,
I mean, you can imagine everything as a game, sure, but maybe a different context. What were you going to ask? You were going to say something else?
oh, yeah, I was just going to say like, kind of like, comparing this situation to something like being in a war, because it's like if we're multidimensional beings and we have all these different lives and billions of cells and all this other stuff, in comparison to some of the things that we've been through, this is like not that, you know,
Right.
something, you know what I'm saying, kind of?
In comparison with humanity itself, its own journey, like different
Or
ideas.
or just with maybe comparison with levels of pain and suffering that other selves maybe experience in more traumatic situations.
Yeah. Well, I look at it like this, okay? I'm a creator, and I've created an incarnation, and that incarnation is human. And now I created a self, right? I did this on Facebook the other day. I was talking to one of my selves, one of my selves. We all have lots of selves.
Right.
So I was looking at the game of humanity itself as a singularity and a collective sequentially or simultaneously. Use either one, they're interchangeable. So what I discovered is as a collective, through my own relationship, I have a co-created earth. And that collective I co-create with, because it's been said there's other planets. There's a nuclear war planet that lived out the nuclear war. There's a
Right.
technology where the technology that was discovered was given freely and they don't have the government that we have on. But
Right.
those Earths don't ascend to the fourth density as a human collective does with this idea of the awakening earth. So it doesn't really matter. All earths will be what they are. Don't get confused in what earth and start to. Now this is the first time I'm sitting on my legs, so I'm checking it out. I'm checking out my
Yeah.
new chair. See if I get it. Okay. See, you're journeying with me. Thank you, masters. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I look at this game, and here we are, an awakening species. And there's a couple different ideas about the age of Aquarius, the awakening idea, and the end of Pisces, as above, as below, to the water bearer, age of Aquarius, and moving through to the ascension world sometime in the age of Capricorn. Okay. So if we look at this consciousness now, and we're awakening, then we have to show ourselves that is not us. The mirror is a reflection of change, not a reflection in my eyes. This is my knowing now, guys. My knowing. You know, you can change this in any way you want.
Yeah.
So it seems to me that in order to change, we have to have change. And the form change comes in, well, maybe you shouldn't judge. Maybe just look at it as change in and of itself to see a larger picture. What is being exposed? There, of course, there's a lot of problems with this, especially I live in America, and I have a leader that leads the American people that seems like a child on a playground yelling back and forth to the other kids and blaming everyone because someone forgot the baseball bat and we can't play baseball now. Or, you know, there's problems, but that's not the point. You can get caught up in the detail, but what the point is for me is I can see that the leaders of the collective are failing the consciousness of the collective, the well-being of the consciousness. And this is not an isolated, this is a global idea. I mean, we're all in this together. So wars were very well, you know, globally effective and stuff like that. But with today's communication, with today's goings on, we're all connected. This is a human collective. And now we can journey this together. And it seems to me that it's showing us maybe not we need to replace leadership, just maybe we're having a time to lead ourselves, to lead the individual singularity in its own truth and how to relate to this. We can be very reactive. It's easy to be reactive. Got to stay at home, put a mask on. There's no coronavirus. It's all a conspiracy theory. And we can go out and party. And we can do all that. And you can see the results of those actions every day in the news. And that's the human world. That's not right or wrong. That's creating a reality. We're creators of reality. Whether the emotions give you the experience of polarity is the emotions of the relevance of that incarnation. But to the collective that grows up inside of here and awakens and views the mastery of its own self, the awakeners, and they can change their life, their behavioral ideas about relating to reality. So if this doesn't jive with me anymore, I will just shift my focus into what is passionate for me. Things like that. And I continue to offer light to the world, not by preaching my light, but offering authenticity. This is what I do. This is how I feel. And with that authenticity, leadership takes your authentic and tells you to be a certain way. When you go against a leadership, you're shunned or maybe ridiculed, not only by your own beliefs, but of course by the consciousness around you that validates other leaderships. We divide ourselves with countries and flags and religions and skin colors. Yay, okay, that's the game. But the point is that this whole thing is offering change, not purpose, not meaning, potential change for things to end and new things to begin. So I see people going at home, experiencing time with their family, time with their ideas, getting to know people, not through technology, but through one-on-one. Maybe getting to know people, although we're using technology to talk to each other, I'm saying that, but not the distraction of technology, which is not right or wrong, it's human, but more so the interactive time of self-exploration. Okay, husband and wife, we've talked about everything, now what? I don't know, let's get honest. Let's start talking about our insides. Let's get weird. And maybe there's that potential, right? Instead of the distraction of, oh, I got to go to work, I got to do this, I can't talk right now, let's watch and binge watch TV, blah, 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 blah. And then after all that's done, then you're left with yourself. And now we get to explore. So it offers a self-evident relationship to self-discovery. And in that, you start to be aware of your own existence. And upon that platform, you're enough. So you're starting to see that the outside leadership maybe can change. And
Yeah.
then through legislation, it will change. We'll probably get a new president, or maybe we won't. But that's not the relevance. The relevance is, how are you treating yourself? How are you leading yourself, behaving your truth, discovering yourself, being honest to yourself, authentic to yourself, to show that we don't need to be led around by little nose rings with a leash on them on how to act and how to behave, because that entire system has failed lives, not people. It's failed lives. People are leaving the planet because it is showing us that the leadership fails the idea of the collective as a whole, because it wants to make money, because it wants to have pride, because it says my way is better than your way. The division in itself is exposed by the idea of the light bearers awakening and being the authentic light to shine light on the things that we as a collective no longer prefer. I mean, is it bad that we have 50% of our money going to the military? No, it's not. But maybe 50% of that can go to free healthcare. Why not? Is that bad because someone doesn't work for that? We create them lazy? Seems to work in other countries. Maybe we can try it. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that can be part of the change. Not right or wrong. Maybe there's change in that. I mean, free medical care. I get free medical care. Why? Because I'm a military. I did my 5 years. I get my medical care. I'm well taken care of. And it's absolutely astounding to have that. And if every person on the planet can have that, because we have the means to do that. But if you work on a system that allows you to have access to that through payment, then it divides the classes and the ability to get a certain medical level of care, right? And that's kind of scary. And in the United States, we have great medical, we have greatest doctors. If you got the money, if you don't have enough money, you can't access the greatest doctors. That's not wrong. See, maybe that's what we're seeing. Maybe there's some other way as a human collective, instead of divided races, and divided countries, divided religions, to see maybe there's a possibility to change. But without seeing the change, the potential, then we're status quo. So this idea comes in a way of change. And of course, it's not just medical, it's money. It's the dependency upon money, the dependency, the value of life. Where do I put my value? Do I value my family more than I value my job, or do I value my job more than I value my family? Like getting sick. In America, if you're a hero if you go to work sick, because you're a good worker and you're tough, and that's pride. I got sick from a girl from Godiva one time, and she was sick and she came into work, and I said, what the fuck are you doing here? Why are you here? And I ended up getting a flu the next day, or not a flu, a cold the next, and I went back and I was like, you gave me the flu because you got to be a hero because you can't afford it. What kind of a sadist are you? And I was like, wow, that's the mentality, that sick equals weak. Sick doesn't equal weak. Why do we have medicines if sick equals weak? Why do we have drugs? So we see, okay? We can now see. That's the idea. Without recognition, then there's no possibility to change the relationship with reality through an authentic self-discovered, because you're so busy being, I'm afraid, safe, secure, got to go to work. Now there's no work. That's not good or bad. Relax. Everyone's going to be okay. No one dies. Everyone goes forever, right? Oh, sure, the physical died. Yeah, I get it. But you see that gives an opportunity, a value, where to put your reality, where to put your energy. Abraham 101, energy follows awareness. Wherever you put your focus, you create your reality. So if you're creating on this idea as negative, you're going to get a negative experience. Welcome to mastery. Positive, positive. Or come back to the whole self and see as an opportunity to change, and start to trust the internal I am, and choose a reality that says, wow, this is awesome, but not in the respects of a human. I mean, in my heart, my goodness, I see how many people are dying in New York. And, you know, some people says, oh, it's all fake. Not in my world. My world, those people are dying. They're experiencing a death because it's showing an opportunity of how the system of leadership that takes its own people that provide the machine of economy and lets them die because of red tape, because of ego, because of separation, because of policy, legislation. And now we get to see the change. And now we make the change. I don't want anyone to be sacrificed. No, people should be able to have that as a collective. It's not right or wrong, it's choice. And now we're seeing that. So I think this is an awakening time
Mm-hmm.
for the collective to really
Yeah.
make a substantial change in the way we interact with each other as a
Mm-hmm.
collective instead of a separated species just because we were born in a different country and we have a different God and we fight over that God and defend that God. Maybe that God is ourselves and we can see each other in the beauty of God within us and we can collectively work together instead of divided as a species instead of a divided species, as a collective. Now we're the human race instead of races within the human collective.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's the
Yeah.
change. I
Yeah.
love it. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
The human, though, I still have compassion. I still feel that.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, man, come on, guys, we can do better. We can do better than this.
Mm-hmm.
So I make those choices that allow people to see themselves as better.
Yeah.
I allow people to enlighten themselves. Don't want leaders. We've had enough leaders. Leaders fail us.
Yeah.
What doesn't fail us?
Yeah.
Self-exploration never fails us. That's only discovery.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Yeah.
It's the collective light, because the collective light is getting brighter and brighter and brighter. And that's you know, when I first met you, and I was loved playing with making memes of things that Osipius would say, and one of them
Yeah.
was it's the Ascension Kickoff, you know, and I just love that, you know, and
Yeah.
it really does seem like that's what's happening. It's like the kickoff, because like the collective light is growing more and more and more. And, you know, and then because we, you know, thankfully have the internet where we can still stay connected, it's just amazing, you know, and it's so clearly the Ascension Kickoff, you know, which I love that saying.
We've been at this. I mean, there was a time that said that the 1987 was the Harmonic Convergence. That's when the
Mhm.
collective really start coming together,
Yeah.
right? And
Mhm.
it's done in not steps, but of course the human mind could place things as events
Yeah.
and make them into steps. But really, what it is natural attraction to see the next idea of ourselves and change. And this one is monster. It's not monster good or bad. It's
Yeah.
monster because we're lighting ourselves up. More and more awakeners are happening, despite what the science says and the media says and the generations say. And then, you know, we're all insane, you know. But, I think we're happy though.
Yeah.
Happy without cause.
Uh-huh.
See, that's the greatest thing. Nothing makes me happy because I was birthed happy, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
And I
love I
too,
love life.
yeah. Yeah.
My own existence is enough.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, because we like more and more of us are, you know, getting in touch with, you know, our true nature, you know, and what we really are, you know. And it's like you know, you have said, and entities that you've channeled have said that, you know, we don't die, we experience a death, you know. So like we
Yeah.
always existed. So like once we get in touch with that infinite nature, there is this invincibility, you know, that comes about, that like no matter what is happening, um,
That isness sets in. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That's why I can't worry anymore. I'm
Yeah.
not afraid. I
Yeah.
don't fear. I don't save. I don't
Yeah.
hope. I don't dream. I don't desire. I am. And I am fills me with the magnetism of my own attraction. I love that law. You know, if you value the five laws that I value: one,
Yeah.
you exist; two, everything is here and now; three, what you put out is what you get back; four, the one are all are one; and five, change is the only constant. All
Right.
three is what you put out is what you get back. But see, the big
Yeah.
scope of the mirror was what you put out has to be positive or negative. But that's not
Right.
a law. That's a
Right.
perception. right?
Yes.
Yeah. So once you get past that idea and you see that your worth, your vibrational I am, the loving you as your value, despite what the belief systems within the construct you built as a human personality say,
Mm-hmm.
you go against your ego, but go with you. It just takes a matter of choice. Do that, and you'll start to fall in love with you without effort. You'll start to see how beautiful. You'll start to feel what you said, your invincibility, because you are existence in and of itself. And without me, there's nothing. One or all are one.
Right.
Don't discount that.
Yeah.
Without you, there's no I am.
Right.
We're all one idea consciousness from individual truths, perspectives, singularities, call it what you will, that offer creation, reflection of change. Every time someone speaks, I'm more. Every time I speak, they're more.
Mm-hmm.
We're always exchanging energy. But of course, if you put in a scope of reality, then we start, or a scope of polarity reality, then we have value in things, good things, bad things. And then you have that experience. But that's why we came here, to have the human experience, to be the idea of separated, to journey to the depths of the mastery of our own knowing. You can't get this game anywhere else. Master class. Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
So it's like, is it like kind of like the 3D world that has polarity? And like, if we are ascending, does that mean that we get ascend beyond polarity, or is that
Oh,
polarity?
yes, absolutely.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Polarity is not necessarily 3D. Polarity is the construct of the human dynamic. To
Okay.
have a fractal that knows not itself as a collective whole, the consciousness connected.
Okay.
Our God existed in many generations of the Homo sapien species,
Yeah.
existed outside as an object. So let's imagine
Yeah.
you created a fractal that only knows itself on what it sees as a baby, and you start vibrating energy, and that energy feeds you the idea of truth, right? Mom and dad's truth, teacher's truth, people's truth, leaders' truth, and you start to grow up into objects around you. So we look at the world and define it as separated from us. But
Mm-hmm.
what's happening is it is a subjective world, and this world is being attracted to us in the idea of self-perception, interpretation, experience, and advancement in the idea of evolution to see more of yourself in the idea of a separated state. Then when you wake up as a potential, not everyone needs to wake up. I mean,
Yeah.
why would the Kardashians ever want to wake up? They're having a great time. Let them go. Why would anyone really want to wake up? We're here for the human. But in the idea of waking up, it's just part of the journey. It's not better or worse. It's just part of it. So I woke up, you woke up, and we're like, oh, wait a minute. I'm a creator and I'm creating the human. So that's my ego I see. That's the created self. Oh, look at that. I see that self as a part of me to ascend, to understand, to transcend, through that belief system and get a different reality and a relationship with yourself that's just priceless. So this 3D world that is encouched in humanity is a result of separation, not knowing. There are many 3D worlds. The Zeta Reticuli, the Andromedans, the Arcturians, even the Hathors. They're 4D, 3D sometimes. They're all connected beings. Martians. What else? Mermaids, octopi, uh,
Fairies.
dolphins and whales. Of course, anything in the Fey world, anything, which is pixie sprites, trolls, grindles, griffins, anything.
Yeah.
Those are all connected species, but they don't go walking around like I'm God, because it's the ego thing. We forgot we're God, so we're searching for that inside, and we objectified it. So through that quality of not knowing, that reality gives us the quality of the experience as only knowing what you know. And what's the result? Cultures, divisions. So we can see and use polarity as a discovery tool, not as a victim, not as, oh my God, look at the master that I am. I created a self that does not know itself, and through that self, it's created its own idea of its personality. Now that is an idea of separation, polarity. Everyone else is beyond polarity. There are people that have measurement scales like the zeta reticuli, but it's like 10%. 10% one way or the other, not like us. I mean, we're the masters of suffering, and we're the masters of hope. you know, the
And of
human, I used to,
limitation.
right. We create conditions to experience ourselves within that conditioning range. And to dive into that conditioning range and keep pushing the boundaries of that conditioning to discover the ongoing conditionings of the human collective. We're always changing, but we're still acting within the realm of conditioning. It's fantastic. But
Mm,
as soon as you go beyond polarity, then you start to connect with a different idea of vibration, because the vibration isn't running through filters anymore. You're attracting vibration, waves, energy, and then you have less filters, so you get more intelligence, more knowledge, more ideas about creation that don't sit with the mind, but sit with the heart.
mm,
Epiphanies, things like that, and you keep working down. But then when you bring the mind in and grab it and make it into something and wrap it up in a definement and an object, then you're looking at as an object outside of you, when it is truly a subjective portion of you, to see it not through the polarized eye, but the expansion eyes. The self of, oh, how do I relate to this item? What is it about this that gives me an understanding of creation itself? It doesn't matter what it means. It's already meaningful. I don't need to make it mean anything. I just can't see what it is because I'm trying to use my mind to make it into something.
mm.
Let's not use that. So let's use the intelligent portion of us. So, when we go to fourth density or we go to other planets, they don't work in the operation of polarity. Just watch the movie K-Pax with Kevin Spacey and Jeff Bridges.
Okay.
Was it Jeff Bridges or Bo Bridges? Jeff Bridges. Maybe Jeff Bridges. I can't remember.
Pax?
K-Pax.
Okay.
Yeah. So in that movie, he was like, it says, well, what happens when someone in your collective doesn't do something right? And he goes, Mark, you're not listening. That collective doesn't do anything wrong because it's not within its idea scope of reality to do right or wrong. It works as an organism of unity that understands itself through diversity, because each singularity is whole with itself and it has no objections within itself divided. So therefore diversity is unjudgeable, it's only expansion. So when I started uniting with Roxanne the whole, I started seeing the beauty of creation being itself. And I don't need to get in anyone's way. I sure as hell don't need to lead anyone or tell anyone what to do, because everyone's enough to discovering themselves. I don't
Mm.
need to interrupt anyone's journey. I don't need to be rude. I get it now. I fall in love with me, and I see the beauty of diversity and the attraction of that diversity that comes to me, like you calling me yesterday and say, Roxy, do you want to? I was like, yeah, I didn't solicit that. I didn't ask for that, but I got it, and it's exciting as it matches my frequency to experience this moment. I'm effortless, right? So I get that to expand myself. So right now, like you, we're working on ourselves, self-discovery, through the idea, the reflection of the mirror that offers us more than ourselves. Whether we have the humility to understand that or not is part of the journey. Make sense?
Yeah.
So beyond polarity is accessible here. Polarity,
Oops.
deconstructing the ego is the mastery. Yeah. For me, again, subjective.
Yeah.
I am.
So is it then that polarity itself exists in higher dimensions, that it's just not judged, or that it just doesn't?
My perspective, not no, not like this. Not in the idea of good and bad. There might
Right.
be opposing sides, but not with the emotional content that human sees and suffers that emotion, right? Because we see something and then we have memory, situation, automatic emotion. Win the lottery, oh my God, mind goes 1,000 miles an hour. Oh, okay, death in the family. Oh my God,
Oh,
they're lost, right?
yeah.
Immediately. Now, what other planets have? I don't know. I haven't been there. But I know that I can go beyond polarity, and I choose to explore that world that sits in motion, not in emotion.
Mhm.
Can't translate reality. That gives me an emotional content. I feel it, but I feel it as the motion of it alive, and it's not contained to a definition any longer.
Yeah.
Beyond polarity is an existence of isness that doesn't render a management system to make sure parts of reality are not experienced or are gone after, because the moment itself is perfect. But the belief systems said no, because we were taught those things. But that was the game.
Mm-hmm.
But when you wake up to the game, then you have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And we are waking up the entire collective as potential change, not to wake up to the God and be an idea of ascended master, any of that stuff to be busy.
Yeah.
And the idea of self-realization, authentic choice to make different choices about their lives, to make different choices about who they put their value in, to look at things from a humanistic collective point of view instead of a political point of view or a religious point of view. You know, I think it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So what's beyond polarity for me is in the here and the now. Whether other people see polarity or anything like that. See, one thing that I've noticed the collective does is they put big monster masks on aliens they've never met, things they've never met. They take these beautiful bunny rabbits that are so cute and fluffy, and they turn them into monsters because that's their perspective of reality through the filter. But no one knows. You got to go there. You got to feel it. You got to be alive in it. And I here have had physical experiences with what you would call non-human entities, and not one of them
Yeah.
is polarized.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have emotions. They're not good nor are they bad. They're
Right.
creators. They're incarnates. You know,
Right.
it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So
I,
it's an endless universe.
endless. I love it. I heard someone say recently that even our emotions, that we are conditioned, like we are conditioned that we are supposed to have certain emotions in certain situations. I'd never heard it quite put that way before. Like, so we're taught that if somebody dies, we have to be sad and mourn. And if we get a big raise, we have to be all happy and excited. And if
Well, I don't think we have to be. I think we were taught that as a potential, yeah.
we were
I
taught
mean, it kind of fits, but who tells you you're supposed to feel this way? Maybe
right.
some narcissistic parent, maybe, I don't know. But
Yeah.
I think the one thing you can't do, you can't standardize creation.
Uh-huh.
You can't put rules on how everyone is supposed to feel, because that's your
Right.
subjective view on what you think is the truth. But
Yeah.
see, the truth lies in the beholder. One man's trash is another man's treasure. If I
Yeah.
see a death, I experience the death. I don't see it as tragic. I see it as transcending.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make me a wrong person because I'm not
Mm-hmm.
having the emotional experience that this guy says I'm supposed to have?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you.
So I think it's a subjective choice.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if there's something that is atrocious in my world and I am a part of that in my vibrational bubble, I'm going to get involved because that's myself. That's not my human self. That's not the right thing to do. I just know me because I found me. Hi, right? So if there's something of that, I will get involved in whatever way the moment is, whatever the moment offers. Not what my mind or my morals or my good natured person is supposed to do, because that lies in time and history. Situation is now alive. But if there are atrocities going on around the world, I'm not going to get up and protest because I'm going to validate wrong and right, and I don't validate polarity. I don't want to do that. That's
Mm-hmm.
not my choice. What I want to do is be allowance, because everyone is experiencing a created self as a human through the creator, and that in and of itself is life itself everlasting. So I have no fears about the human experience. I see them in ownership and their mastery to discover portions of the self not available anywhere else, unless you get the quality of being separated, which we have chosen.
Mm-hmm.
And through that, we created channeling, we created awakening, we created tarot cards, we created things to go beyond the paper and pencil of facts and postulates, and they still can't figure out what it all means, but they keep going, and let them. That's awesome. But
Yeah.
I know my truth. It sits here.
Yeah.
This knowing. It's not a belief. A belief is challengeable. A knowing is, I got this. There's no justifying it. So.
Yeah. This whole thing about the now and the eternal now, and that now is the thing that's real. So where is memory and there and then and all that? Is that Real or
It's created. Oh, yes, it's real. Absolutely, it's real. Let's consider the now for a second. And I got this input from Daryl Anko channeling the collective of Essassani, that messenger group called Bashar, right?
yeah.
So Bashar had said that the memory is created in the moment. So I sat and I mused on that about 5 years ago for about a good day. Sat outside reading, musing, walking around, blah, blah, blah. Just poof. And I got it. I see it now. So in the now, I remember some things, but not all things. And he had said,
Right.
everything is attraction in the moment to make a perfect bubble of now. And that now has everything provided in it that matches that moment. So if I remember something in the now, it's part of my vibrational attraction moment, and I create that memory. Now, a lot
Yeah.
of people said, well, did I ever experience that dog that died 16 years ago? Did I ever have that car accident? Did I ever fall in love and then get divorced 10 years ago? Did I ever have a child? Was my child there? Now that they're not here anymore, they're over here. Is that all just fake? See, that's where it gets sticky, is because people can't feel that. Well, all reality is. Let's remember the idea about this. There's two sides of reality. Well, let's just use law one. There's two sides of existence. One is existence, the other is non-existence. And again, I'm giving the ideas, relaying the ideas from the Essassani civilization, that non-existence is full of non-existence. So there's no room in there because it's all non-existence. And what's in here is all existence, which is all that is, right? So everything over here is true, everything over there is not true. So the truth is, everything you've experienced is your truth, the way you've seen yourself. Just because it's not in the now, we created. Now I'm going to go over to a guy named Ramtha, channeled by Jay-Z Knight, and I read it in the White Book. I think it was called the White Book, maybe, I don't know, about the idea of fleeting as opposed to social memory complex or souls. Okay, souls is, ooh, it's a sticky term with the biblical idea. But what it
Yeah.
is that in the now, we create time and memory, but it's all true. It did happen, and it happened in that now. We always look at the now. The now is still, when we focus on it, it moves. We create motion with our will. And that's how the now is, okay? And that's hard for the mind, I get it, but just don't try to figure it out and let it
Yeah.
steep inside like a good tea. You know, it's like a good tea. Just let it steep a little bit, you know? So I'm having a London fog. Fantastic. Oh,
Mm.
mm.
I think there is a way to absorb this without the mind, right? It's
Yeah, isness. Relax.
yeah.
Let the epiphanies come. They come in natural timing. Remember your
Yeah.
Seth. Everything comes in natural timing. Forced timing is the ego trying to construct an idea of satisfaction so you can feel better about yourself when you're already enough. Realize that, and then you
Mhm.
allow things to come in. So this memory idea, okay, it's created in the moment. So yeah, it's all real, but it's relative to the now. So if I'm driving down the road and all of a sudden I remember, oh my God, I have an appointment, and I look down and I'm 5 minutes away from the appointment, and the appointment's 5 minutes, then I'm on time because it's relative to me in the now. But 30 minutes after the appointment, oh my God, someone reminds me, didn't you have an appointment? Oh yeah, I should have been there. Well, the reason why you didn't remember, because it wasn't your highest joy. You
Mm.
can choose to set reminders and make yourself go to something you don't want to do because you're obligated. Now that's the human self, not right or wrong. Nothing consequential is going to happen except whatever you see as consequential for missing that appointment or going to it and missing what you wanted to do. That's all the choice of that and how we create realities. So the idea of Ramtha had said at one time, creators were fleeting, Fleeting.
Okay.
And we just went. We had no idea of reflection to know ourselves as was. And so we created an experience of a social memory complex that stored our experience of ourselves. And we have in our thought, in the now, those ideas that play time consider memory, right? So you can remember 10 years ago. I can remember 10 years. No way. Maybe 2 or 3 memories in the last 10 years. That's about it. And you know what's funny? Just a little side note. The more now I am, I can't remember what I had for lunch. It's because it's relevant, because the now is perfect. I don't need to manage my time anymore. Fantastic. I realize I don't have time to do anything because I'm now. I never make time for anything because now fills my own existence with the absolute attraction of my value, my self-discovery. Fantastic. So we created the social memory complex. You can also find it in the raw material with Carla. I think it was Carla that was channeled uh, in that about creating that social memory complex to store those ideas of the experiences that you've been through as a perspective of sequentialtaneous, moving forward in time, but all at the same time. So it's different points of the now that we look at. So that's all it is. It's very complicated when you've been raised on time as a standard, raised on one Earth when there's truly billions of Earths. The Earth you create right now is your Earth, and then you change those Earths as you change your points of view. And of course, the collective is expanding to the point of splitting Earths, the 3D Earth, the 4D Earth. We're not, the chasm isn't far enough apart yet for worry about if your people are going to come or not. Forget about that. I don't think that's even in our generation. But I think as we, as a collective, enlighten ourselves, we create more interest in a unified species and then instead of a divided species. And the people that want to remain divided and remain the human experience, not right or wrong choice, stay in that life. And then we create a fourth density vibrational relationship Earth that will ascend physically to the non-physical fourth density. Age of Capricorn, I suppose, 2,000 years, whatever. That's debatable, but I'm not interested because it doesn't matter. What is now. So now I pay attention, I create time. Anyone ever leave late and arrive early? Anyone ever have deja vu? Deja vu is you already know you're now because you're creating it right now, but the memory goes, oh my God, I've been here. Well, yeah, because you've already created it, but you're catching up with it in time sometimes. A lot of spooky stuff happens when you start to pay attention to yourself in the now as a creator, a new approach, and you get miracles and mysteries and synchronicities that we attach to as image, but they're not image, they're our natural selves. And it takes an amount of humility to swallow that awesomeness that, oh my God, this just isn't another fad. This isn't another something to distract me until I die. This is reality. I can choose this reality and I understand that reality and my reality validates my choices. Wow. So the now creates the memory for me. And if I look into the future, then I know I must be using the past to validate the future because I can't know the unknowable. I can only know the knowable through the known self because that's where the pulls from. The resources of my memory says, well, this is a potential. This is a potential. Like first contact. Okay, let me say that better. Open contact.
Right.
They all say between 2033, 2035. Could even be sooner. But that's all according to the collective's vibration. And everyone knows there's UFO. Everyone knows there's cover-ups. Everyone knows the technology comes, but no one wants to do it because they want proof. They want, okay, the government has to say there is. France released all their UFO. Russia released all their UFO. There's things going on. Oh my God. Well, what does that mean? Then all of a sudden we start a space program, a space army program to defend against the nasty aliens, to keep that illusion, to keep that control, to keep that fear. Great. That's part of the game. Don't get in its way. Let the game be. Be your game and create a different light and attract people to a new world that offers the idea of a collective as an organism of one without division, but yet using the diversity as its own expansion. Fantastic. So I love how the now works for me.
Yeah. And those, well, I don't think the word alien is maybe the right word, but the being some other dimensions or places, that they're all part of the one, the all one doesn't mean humanity, it means everything and every being.
Everything is collective one, yeah.
Yeah.
And aliens is a good word. Extraterrestrials is a good, yeah. Okay. Yeah, because they're alien to us. The aliens that live on the planet. One of the ideas of a channeling that I was involved in, it was a group channeling, is that bees, like honeybees, are aliens. Oh. They're not indigenous to the planet Earth. You know,
Oh,
they were brought here, or they came here somehow, and they said, "Oh, look at all the fauna we have here. Let's go ahead and create a reality here." And they did, and they're part of our organism of creating an environment of human experience, as well as bee experience and dolphin experience and tree experience and plant and dirt and, oh my gosh, everything experiencing itself. You know.
yeah.
So yeah, aliens is not a bad word. I mean,
Oh, okay.
if it's not human, then it's alien to us, and we use that term. But of course, Hollywood,
Right.
to get excited about aliens, took it as a negative context. One
Yeah.
of my favorite movies is the Alien series
Oh.
and Predator. I love those movies. You know.
I think
But
it's
yeah,
because I heard somebody say that that's not a good word because they're not alien, but whatever. But
well, I mean, if they're not
dimensional
human, what
beings,
are they?
whatever. But
Okay, we can
yeah,
say not human, but why do we have to keep adjusting because
I
everyone
know.
thinks they're offended? The
No,
only ones offended is us.
right.
We're the one who creates offense.
Yeah.
Their allowance, they're absolutely unconditional. They're like, okay, because they don't have that
Yeah.
emotion of individuality needs to be validated because
Yeah.
they're unified.
Yeah.
Their existence is enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't see themselves as less than.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wrong. You need to do it this way. You know, the big offensive age, everyone's offended. If you know, it's like, okay, be offended. Have fun with it.
Yeah. And even if people want to play victim or people want to have fear or whatever, it's okay. Like they can have their
Let them.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's not wrong. See, that's the
Yeah.
unconditional realizing itself.
Yeah.
Even though you do it through conditionings, it doesn't make it right or wrong. It makes it experiential. You know, let them have their experience. Okay, have that. If it hurts you and you're upset that they're having that idea, then aren't you seeing and recognizing? Man, what we talk about recognition? Recognition and belief system that will give you an emotion. Maybe you need to look at that belief system that's in place that divides you against that person that's being themselves. Everyone has their own truth. Let them be it. Oh, wow, then I see something in me. So now I have an opportunity to get mad and use the anger against them, or I can be humble and say, wow, this shit's mine. That's my belief system. Doesn't matter where I got it from. I got it from because I came here separated. That's the game. Not my
Mhm.
fault, no one's fault. Okay, I accept that. I created that. Okay, that's mine. Well, now that I can see beyond that, how can I see beyond that? Emotionally, it makes me mad, makes me angry, makes me upset. Emotionally, it gives me this. But how about the observer? Wow, I created that. I don't know where I got it from, doesn't matter. But I'm upset at that. That is an unconditional. I put the conditions on. Do I have the humility and allowance and accept that surrender, that vulnerability to transcend that? Can I realize my own mastery right now? I bet your sweet ass I can because I am, right? Do that work.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I love that you say that all humans are masters and creators and
Oh, yeah.
interpreters, which is a good one, right?
We
Full
are.
that we're
Oh,
interpreting.
yeah. We're, there was when I was talking to Osifius and a couple of the boys, you know, the boys and the girls I got living up here, but and, when I go up and I sit and talk with them, I have this little room that I created, like this little outdoor balcony patio, and we're all sitting around shooting the shit about the galaxies. And they're like, when you came to Earth, you have a spiritual family. People always want to belong to a collective, but you just pretty much have a spiritual family. The Gestalt of Roxanne has 1,000 singularities in it, or whatever. But we have a grouping that we like to hang out with, right? And whether they're from other collectives or parts of your whole self is irrelevant, but you have a group. So here comes human. This is, wow, look, everyone, the game of humanity. There's 100 of you, right? And everyone goes, not a chance. But you go, I'm going. You dove down and created an actual physical being in a world that is incredibly hostile on the second you wake up down here. I mean, it's like, wow, I could die now and experience that death. Look at the amount of fear of not knowing, the bravery, the courage it takes to create an actual physical incarnation, to live the experience of separation, not knowing you are I am, and all the beauty that comes with that, all the assurity that comes, all the certainty that comes, all the isness, all the absolute unneeded courage and unneeded validation that lies within your own isness that never is questioned. And that's all gone. And then all you have is like, holy crap, I have me. And then we go, we need people. We need you. I need you. I need help me, help me. And I get that. And I love that. And then we offer that. And we offer that encouragement and that enlightenment. And then we journey as masters together. And then meanwhile, 99 of your guides are up there going, damn. that's just messed up, man. Yeah, go on. Yeah, I'll give you an idea. Here you go. But truly, our guides to me are friends. You know, one's in it with us to be there with us. You know, that little moment, those little miracles and little things that say, hey, man, it's all right. And we assign it to different ideas when we have angels and, you know, and different ideas of guides, whatever. But truly, they're friends. But if you look at it, if the big picture, the mastery is to see there are no guides except the ones that you create. Because that's part of the game, to have guides in order to give you the guidance into your own revelation, not to guide out of here. No one wants to leave the game we chose to come in. We came to the game to know the game. So the guidance is self-realization, self-awareness, awakening to the whole of you. And those guides give us that. So we create guides for ourselves in the now. But the need of guides when you're whole is none, because we're an organism of one. We're a communion of unconditional experience and offering. So there's no need because we're not in lack. That's polarized. That's part of the game. So we created guides as stepping stones. And one time, and one fundamental moment of realization, you're like, hey guys, now we're going to be friends, okay? I got this. I realize I am. And then you start communing on as a friendship, a remembrance. And then remember, hey, remember that time when we were on Centurion 5 and we were there and you get this weird memory of a different incarnation because you were talking to one of your spirit guides that's all of a sudden a remembrance as a friend, you know, and you're in that galaxy and you're in that time and you're like, holy cow, what is that? Is that made up? Is that freaky? Your vibration expands and you start to tune into different idea frequencies and get different interpretations in your mind. You take the journey of the magical mystery tour that lies within the gestalt of you.
Woohoo!
So that's why I call you guys masters, because I know we are. I know we are.
Mm-hmm.
Osifia said it day one, masters.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Big O.
As you said, like Kardashians, just as an example, even, you know, people who aren't interested in that kind of thing, they're still masters. Everyone's a master.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether they master the idea of polarity, one end or the other, is irrelevant unless you make it relevant because you're the master yourself of that creator. You can get to see how you want reality to be.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, what do you think about when we're sleeping and we have dreams? Those are real as well, right? Because they're real experiences, because we experience them. So they're, whatever we experience is real, right?
Well, oh yeah, everything is real, but it's the value of that reality. Right now, we consider going to sleep in a dream state a mystery. So our relationship with that mystery would be considered or filtered through, it's a dream state. So it's not really real. Maybe sometimes you have a dream and it's giving you an idea about the next day's event. Or maybe the dream is like you were really on a different reality. So the dream itself can't be contained to one thing. It has to be understood through the awakener to choose its relationship with that and trust the choice and let the choice evolve. Because sometimes, you know, our whole self sends us a rose, but we can only have the perception of seeing it maybe as a lilac or a lily, right? And then maybe 2 or 3 days it starts to change its form and it starts to look more like a rose a couple days later. So maybe our whole self was giving us, which is us, giving us an idea about something upon your earth that you can see different. So there's those kind of dreams, but there's also dreams. It's like, man, I mean, me and you, I mean, people email me, says, Roxy, me and you were sitting down and we were talking and there was Osifius was there and you were there and we're just having a conversation. And it was like we're having a conversation at a real coffee shop. What was that? And I said, we were having a conversation. That's what it was. It was reality. But through the filter, we see it as a dream, a different relationship to a state of being. Doesn't make it any more or less real. Oh, you got to love Dumbledore. Come on now. Remember? And Harry Potter, the last one, Deathly Hallows Part 2. Well, Dumbledore, isn't this all happening in my head? And he goes, well, of course it is. Well, why should that make a difference? See, it doesn't make a difference because it's all happening up here. It's all
Yeah.
created thought. It's experience of matched vibrations and their interpretations that gives the reality to each individual in its endless journey of self-discovery.
Mm-hmm.
Endless journey. No finish line. We go forever. Yeah, God, I love that. I melt every time. I'm like, oh my gosh. I am.
That's huge, man.
That's huge, man. I always get so happy when I realize my own existence. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Melts my freaking heart.
The same
Whew.
with dreams as with like imagination, because imagination has a bad rap a lot of times where
We were taught bad rap.
just imagination, and meanwhile even Einstein said imagination is more important than knowledge.
Absolutely, because out of imagination comes created.
Mm-hmm.
You think Tesla got the idea of alternate current, direct current, before he imagined it? He
Right.
imagined it first. He had a dream about it, and that little machine exploded into a million different pieces, and he put it together and said, here, instead of direct current, we can go AC/DC, and we don't need reboot stations every 100 feet. If we would have gone with Edison's idea, then we would have direct current everywhere. But this brilliant man comes up with AC/DC because he used his imagination. Look at the songs.
Yeah.
We write songs through imagination. We create art through imagination. Someone said you can't define art, and art to me is the passion of self-discovery. It doesn't have to be defined in a medium. It's self-discovery. I play my flute as an artist. Self-discovery. You know, I discover myself through this idea, artwork, and whether the artwork is an architect, or he's a ditch digger, or he's working at HEB putting my groceries and bringing them to my house. The explorer of consciousness is the art itself. The definement is the reality of humans to value that person in the ability to be smart or dumb or wealthy, or because we value money more than we value our own lives. You know? So that's part of the game though. But I think that art, that self-exploration, is the artist within. Whatever it is. It doesn't matter. Just do it because you love it. Seth had said, notice yourself go to work. Your work is always created. Even if you get fired, you have another work. Your effort, your purpose creates reality.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if you can get the same reality if you create passion. Well, of course. It's just a relationship of truth. It doesn't matter because, see, creation is unconditional. It doesn't matter what you do. It's that you do your truth. It doesn't see conditioning and unconditioning as a good or a bad thing, because creation in itself is unconditional, right? So wherever you put your focus. So I love me as a speaker. So I created Odyssey of Ascension. 8 years, coming up on 8 years, I'm still doing it. And I created a life of that idea of absolute passion to discover my ability to channel, to speak, and then have the means to explore my reality in continuation when I'm not speaking. I don't pass the time, I create. I learned American Sign Language, flute, cooking. I explore reality in the now.
Yeah.
Whatever that is. I'm not bored because I'm living, you know?
Yeah.
So you learn that interaction with passion and trust and attract the world without effort, without conscious thought, without plans, without goals, without needs, wants, and desires. Trust your reality through the idea of the law, what you put out is what you get back. If you're putting out passion and truth, don't you think you'll get ways to continue passion and truth? Yes.
Yeah.
You just got to step into it. You do
Yeah.
love what you do, your channel's going to grow. Not because you're awesome, not because people need you, not because you're serving a purpose, is because you love yourself, Dee. Because you love what you do, and that passion attracts.
Aw, thank you.
Byproduct is people get it.
Yeah. And you know, thank you.
You're welcome.
Arcturians through Dan Scranton once said that.
I love Daniel.
I know.
Shout out to Daniel Scranton, Mr. Hawaii.
Shout out, Dan.
Is he still in Hawaii? Yeah, he's still in Hawaii.
I
Yeah.
think as far as I know, with the baby.
I know, yeah. Yay.
But anyway,
Seeing them journey. Oh, fantastic.
yeah.
Fantastic.
The conscious relationship, the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Like even if you create something, like you write something or you do something and you never actually put it out there, you're still putting it out there. That the energy,
Yes.
what you're doing is still.
Because that's now.
I love that.
It doesn't have to get produced.
Yeah.
It's still within the conscious, the collective. We're all unified. Just
Yeah.
because our mind doesn't see that doesn't mean it's absent from creation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I love to, one of the things you said recently about, Brent made a meme about it, that your speech, your freedom of speech can never be taken away from you, because your freedom of speech is, your speech is vibration.
It's
right?
vibration.
Yeah. And so it's like, no one can take your vibration away from you.
Can't extinguish you.
Freedom.
Well, they may change the physical form into a transcending form, but it doesn't negate the existence of you is always in the now, present, because you are one I am existence.
Yeah. Wow, we've done our hour. Thank you so much.
Is the hour up? My goodness.
I love you so much. Will you play a little bit of your flute again?
Oh my God. If I can remember this one. Beginning of Scarborough Fair, that's all I remember. But that song makes me cry. Thank you, Simon and Garfunkel. I love you.
I love them too.
Makes me cry when I was like, oh. And then, of course, I'll put on the playlist of all of their hits.
Oh, good.
I think the Boxer was my favorite. Oh, man. I love the Boxer. Anyways, so maybe in this time that we're home, it's not what you're doing to pass the time. Focus on looking out into the reality from isness instead of looking at the object to become something. Be I am, looking out and engage with your reality. And then you'll never have to pass time again, because time becomes irrelevant, you know?
Yeah.
So just like the ability for me to cook, I never thought I could cook the way I can cook now. But I don't cook with books, I cook up here. Because I have this intelligence about that. I know what to do now. I get it. Because I understand the relationship with the things. I understand the vibration because I'm communing with them instead of separating, because I'm not trying to create a product and I'm not worried about what I'm going to do to satisfy another. I'm exploring I am.
And
Fantastic.
I can smell your stew.
I know. It smells good, doesn't it?
It smells wonderful.
I know.
All the way from Winnipeg to San Antonio, Texas.
That's it.
It's straight down. It's straight down, I think.
Yes, it is. It's pretty much. I mean, I know you're straight up from me, you know? Yeah.
So
just look north and like, hey.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So much.
You're welcome, darling.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. And thank you.
Bringing this light to the world. Yeah.
As you.
All right, darling. I love you so much.
I love you too.
We'll talk in the next now.
Yes. Okay. Bye.
Bye.